born with privacy, right? So I hope they can have that as they grow. And none of my children want to be in front of the camera at this time. So they're quite private. Shiloh's extremely private.
When Shiloh Jolie-Pitt walked out of that dance studio in April 2025, something had changed. The girl who once insisted on being called John and wore only suits was gone. In her place stood someone who looked exactly like a young Angelina Jolie. The same piercing blue eyes, the same lips. Even the way she smiled felt identical. But this transformation wasn't just about looks. Scientists say she inherited Angelina's dominant traits in ways that seem almost impossible. And what happened next shocked everyone who thought they knew this family. In 2006, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie made a surprising decision that captured the world's attention. They chose to have their first biological child not in Los Angeles, London, or Paris, but in a quiet coastal town in Namibia called Swakopmund. It wasn't a random pick. It was a strategic move to escape the media storm that followed them everywhere. Namibia had something Hollywood couldn't offer: silence, distance, and control. The government even helped secure their privacy by sending out police and kicking out foreign photographers. The region's governor called it an honor, and by April that year, the couple had quietly checked into a private resort. Bodyguards and local police made sure no outsiders got close. Then, on May 27, 2006, their daughter was born. They named her Shiloh Jolie-Pitt. Namibia granted her citizenship right away. That made Shiloh one of the rare celebrity children with dual citizenship from birth. The security was so tight that hospital workers had to sign non-disclosure agreements. At least 4 photographers who tried to sneak in were deported. It was a birth wrapped in secrecy, but also in meaning. Even her name told a story. Shiloh comes from Hebrew and means Messiah, or peaceful one. It's not just from a baby name book. It's a name from ancient prophecy, tied to peace and leadership. For Angelina, it carried even more weight. Years earlier, her parents had wanted to name their first child Shiloh, but that child never arrived. The pregnancy ended in miscarriage. Naming her daughter Shiloh was her way of honoring that memory. Her middle name, Nouvelle, means new in French. A new start, a new peace. And when the name was revealed, it quickly spread. Baby name trends changed overnight. Everyone wanted to name their child Shiloh. Inside the clinic, things didn't start easy. Shiloh was in a breech position, which meant Angelina needed a C-section. Her doctor flew in from Los Angeles just to do the procedure. But the tension melted into laughter. Angelina later said she laughed so hard she cried. Her mother, also in the hospital under a fake name, was on the phone with her. Both women were medicated, both emotional. Brad filmed the whole thing on a handheld camera. Later, he called it a peaceful moment they'd never forget. But their gratitude didn't stop with words. After the birth, Brad and Angelina donated $300,000 to maternity wards in Namibia. They also pledged $15,000 for a local school and community center. What could have been a media disaster became a calm, generous moment that Namibia would remember forever. Then, something even more unexpected happened. When Shiloh was just 2, she asked to be called John. Brad revealed this during an interview with Oprah in 2008. It wasn't a joke. Shiloh corrected anyone who used her birth name. If someone said Shiloh, she said, "I'm John." Sometimes she wanted to be called Peter, like the character from Peter Pan. Her family respected it. At breakfast, Brad would ask, "John, do you want orange juice?" And she'd reply, "No." It lasted for years, and it wasn't something they hid. They supported her, loved her, and followed her lead. The public noticed. So did the press. And then came the outfits. Shiloh didn't like dresses, not at all. She wanted tracksuits, suits, ties. Even as a toddler, she made her fashion choices clear. Angelina said she dressed Montenegro style: slacks, jackets, no skirts. At age 8, Shiloh walked the red carpet with her brothers in a black suit and tie. Her short haircut made her look even more confident. And it wasn't for show. Angelina once said, "She wants to be a boy. She thinks she's one of the brothers." Angelina didn't hide any of it. She talked openly about her daughter's choices. In a 2010 Vanity Fair interview, she said, "Shiloh wanted to be a boy. She didn't sugarcoat it. She simply told the truth." In another interview, she said, "It's not for the world to interpret anything. She wants her hair cut like a boy. She wanted to be called John for a while." These statements shook the public. No other A-list celebrity had spoken so frankly about a child's gender identity. Angelina didn't back down. She believed in unconditional love, and she showed it. Not everyone applauded. Some media outlets accused Angelina of pushing Shiloh toward gender nonconformity. Online forums exploded with speculation. Was it Brad's idea? Was it Angelina's influence? Rumors said the couple disagreed on how to handle it, but Brad stood firm. He said he supported Shiloh 100%. If Shiloh identifies as a boy, Brad is behind her all the way. Still, the noise didn't stop. On September 14, 2016, everything changed for Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and their 6 children. They were flying on a private jet from France to Los Angeles, but instead of a peaceful trip, it turned into a nightmare. According to court documents and FBI reports, Brad was already upset before they even boarded. He had argued with one of the kids. Once the jet was in the air, things got worse. He accused Angelina of siding too much with the children. The argument quickly got physical. Jolie said Brad pulled her into the bathroom, grabbed her by the head and shoulders, and shoved her into a wall. The kids, aged 8 to 15, stepped in to protect their mother. In the chaos, Brad allegedly choked one of them and hit another in the face. But it didn't stop there. According to Angelina's legal filings, he poured beer on her, and then beer and red wine on the kids. They were left crying, wrapped in blankets, shaken and scared. Even after the plane landed, Brad wouldn't let them leave right away. They sat there for another 20 minutes, trapped and traumatized. News of the incident exploded. Just days later, the FBI and Los Angeles Child Welfare Services launched an investigation into Brad Pitt for child abuse. The FBI got involved because it happened on a plane, which falls under federal law. Jolie gave them photos, bruises on her elbow, a burn-like injury on her hand, and said Brad had been drinking, though not drunk. She said the aggression had started even before they got to the airport. The report confirmed many of her claims, but in the end, no charges were filed. The reasons were never fully explained. Most of the details stayed sealed until 2022, when Angelina sued to get the full FBI report released. That lawsuit revealed how serious the incident really was. Many were shocked that no criminal action had been taken. 5 days after the flight, on September 19, 2016, Angelina filed for divorce. Her lawyer said it was for the health of the family. That phrase stuck with the media. She asked for full physical custody of the kids and only limited visits for Brad. The divorce was sudden and brutal, grabbing headlines all over the world. Jolie's team stayed quiet after the filing, asking for privacy. Brad released a short statement saying he was heartbroken and thinking about the kids. It was the end of a relationship that had started in 2004 on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They had been together for 12 years, married for 2. The split was not just about love lost. It was the beginning of years of legal battles, custody fights, and public drama. Out of all the children, the one most affected may have been Shiloh. She was Brad's first biological daughter with Angelina. Before the flight, they had a strong bond. After it, things changed. Their connection faded. Reports suggest that the damage done that day in the air still shapes their relationship. From the moment Shiloh Jolie-Pitt was born in May 2006, her life was anything but ordinary. Her parents, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, chose to have her in Namibia just to avoid the media chaos in the United States. But even halfway across the world, it didn't stop. Journalists had to get special permits, and armed guards were stationed around the hospital. All of it just to stop someone from snapping a photo of a newborn. Shiloh didn't get to ease into the world. She was launched into the spotlight before she could even walk. As she grew older, nothing changed. A trip to the park, a simple grocery run, everything had to be planned like a mission. Decoy cars, security teams. Her parents sometimes had to step in front of cameras themselves, blocking shots or begging photographers to back off. It wasn't just about protecting privacy anymore. It became a fight to protect childhood itself. Other celebrities noticed too. Halle Berry and Jennifer Garner joined the push to make laws that would finally punish those who took pictures of celebrity children without permission. California passed new rules. It helped, at least a little. At home or in private spaces, there was more peace. But the second they stepped outside, it was war again. Angelina once called it silly, but it wasn't harmless. It had real effects. Shiloh has admitted that she doesn't feel comfortable with fame. And the truth is, it never gave her a choice. Her schooling wasn't like other kids either. She never stayed in one place for long. Her parents were always on the move, filming movies, running charities, visiting refugee camps. So school followed them. They hired tutors who traveled with the family. Sometimes she'd be homeschooled. Other times she'd join international schools for short stays. Her classroom could be in Los Angeles one week and Cambodia the next. But there was something powerful in that kind of education. Shiloh didn't just read about different cultures. She lived them. She learned languages, took part in local festivals, and visited the birth countries of her siblings. In Ethiopia, in Cambodia, in Namibia, everywhere her family had roots, she spent time. Her lessons were more than math or reading. They were about the world, justice, and history. And through it all, she saw not just beauty, but also hardship. She visited schools built by her mother in war-torn regions. She saw what poverty looked like up close. That changed her. At home, things were just as layered. Shiloh is one of 6 kids. Maddox was born in 2001 in Cambodia. Pax in 2003 in Vietnam. Zahara came from Ethiopia in 2005. Shiloh was born next in 2006, and in 2008, the twins Knox and Vivian were born in France. 3 were adopted. 3 were born into the family. But they were all raised the same. Each culture respected, each child given space to grow. Shiloh and Zahara are especially close. They go to events together, and friends say Zahara helped shape Shiloh's bold fashion sense. Maddox, the eldest, has spent time studying in South Korea. Vivian dreams of Broadway. Zahara's getting into activism. Even with their parents splitting up, the kids have held on to each other. Shiloh has been called the peacemaker. She's the one trying to keep everyone connected, even when it's hard. Shiloh Jolie-Pitt didn't just stumble into dance. She found it, chased it, and never looked back. At 16, she walked into Millennium Dance Complex in Los Angeles, not as a celebrity's daughter, but as a girl ready to work. This wasn't your average dance studio. It had trained stars like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. It was intense, competitive, and built for those who were serious. But that's exactly what drew Shiloh in. She started coming regularly in 2024. Dressed in hoodies and sweats, she didn't stand out as a movie star's kid. She blended in. But when the music started, everything changed. She showed up early, she stayed late, and she pushed through routines that left even experienced dancers gasping. The pressure didn't scare her. It fueled her. One of her biggest influences was Kalani Marks. He's choreographed for Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Chris Brown. His style is hard, fast, sharp, and demanding. But Shiloh didn't back down. She struggled. She failed. She went down in flames, as Kalani put it. But she came back, every time. And soon, he stopped seeing her as Brad and Angelina's kid. She earned his respect. He said her consistency reminded him of dancers who go on world tours. It wasn't her name, it was her fight. Then came the viral videos. One clip of her dancing to APT by Bruno Mars, and Rosé caught fire online. She wore baggy pants and an oversized hoodie, but there was nothing casual about her moves. People couldn't believe the control, the power, the stage presence. Comments poured in. She's insane! This is real talent! Even professionals were shocked at how fast she had improved. The momentum didn't stop there. Her instructors, Kalani and Hamilton Evans, shared her clips too. Suddenly, people saw her not as a celebrity kid playing around, but as a serious dancer. Even Brad Pitt was asked about it. He said he was proud. She had found something of her own. But what really sets Shiloh apart is how she trains. She doesn't stick to one teacher. She works with many: hip-hop, jazz, contemporary, even breakdancing. Most young dancers play it safe. She doesn't. Her routine includes hours of daily practice, plus extra time for strength training. She takes criticism, learns fast, and keeps going. On the morning of May 27, 2024, Shiloh Jolie-Pitt turned 18. Within hours, she filed a legal petition to change her name. She didn't wait for permission or lean on her parents. She hired her own attorney. She paid every legal fee herself, money earned from her modeling and personal projects. That single act spoke louder than words. It wasn't just a legal formality, it was a personal declaration. She was stepping away from the shadow of her father's name. The court filing made her intentions clear. She no longer wanted to be Shiloh Jolie-Pitt. She asked to be legally known as Shiloh Nouvelle Jolie. Nouvelle was a tribute to the French architect Jean Nouvel, someone her mother admired, but it also marked Shiloh's break from Brad Pitt. The name change was approved by August 2024, and her new name became official across all legal documents: passport, license, and contracts. She wasn't the first of the Jolie-Pitt children to make a change, but she was the most visible. And the timing, right after turning 18, showed this decision wasn't impulsive. It was something she'd waited years to do. Brad Pitt didn't see it coming. According to close sources, he was devastated. He'd once called Shiloh his little peanut. He had hoped for a future reconciliation. But her choice to drop Pitt felt like a final wall, a rejection, not just in public, but in legal ink. For him, it was heartbreaking. He had lost not just a name connection, but possibly a relationship. Friends said he felt blindsided. They also said this was more than just a name. It was a permanent shift in their bond. In California, the law requires all name changes to be published publicly in a newspaper for 4 straight weeks. That meant Shiloh's personal choice became front-page news. Her old and new names, the court case number, and hearing date were printed for all to see. No one objected. But the announcement unleashed a wave of media attention. Tabloids ran wild. Fans debated every detail. And through it all, Shiloh stayed silent. By following this outdated but mandatory rule, she showed she wasn't hiding. She was taking ownership of her life, even under a microscope. A year later, in May 2025, she took another bold step. At a high-profile fashion event in Los Angeles, Shiloh made her professional debut as a choreographer. But she didn't use her full name. On the credits, it read simply, Shiloh Jolie. It was a soft echo of Jolie, but shorter, stronger. At that event, hosted by designer Isabel Marant and Netta Porter, Shiloh's choreography took center stage. It wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a stunt. It was a performance that made headlines for all the right reasons. Her piece featured dancers Keone Rose and Tako Suzuki. Together, they performed a sensual, emotional routine choreographed by Shiloh. It was intense, expressive, and nothing like the usual fashion show fluff. Shiloh was spotted slipping away from the party to rehearse with her dancers. She wasn't just lending her name, she was directing every move. The performance was praised by insiders and critics alike. For the first time, she had a professional credit attached to real artistry. The music came from indie singer Luella. Her song, Naive, was the heartbeat of the performance. As Luella sang live, the dancers moved to Shiloh's choreography. It was seamless. It felt personal. The crowd was mesmerized. Fashion editors called it unforgettable. Entertainment outlets praised its originality. That night, Shiloh wasn't just someone's daughter. She was a choreographer, an artist, and a creator. Even with all this momentum, she stayed away from the spotlight. Top agents reached out. Pop stars wanted her to choreograph for their tours. Reality show producers made offers. One source said she could have had her own dance series. But she said no to all of it. Since her early teens, her dance videos had gone viral. But fame was never the goal. She wanted creative control. Her mother, Angelina Jolie, supported that fully. She told the press her kids value privacy above all else. In the world of Hollywood, few mother-daughter duos have sparked as much fascination as Angelina Jolie and her daughter Shiloh. But what makes their bond so unique isn't just fame or family. It's the face they seem to share. When side-by-side photos of them hit social media, people don't just see resemblance, they see a mirror. The same piercing blue eyes, the same lips, the same high cheekbones. Scientists have even studied this. Geneticists say kids inherit half their DNA from each parent. But dominant traits like Angelina's cheekbones and Jolie lips can pass down almost unchanged. That's exactly what's happened here. Shiloh's bone structure, from her zygomatic arches to her jawline, matches her mother's so closely, even their philtrums, the little groove above the lip, seem copied and pasted. And there's more to this than just beauty. When Angelina revealed she carried the BRCA1 gene linked to cancer, it started a wave. Testing rates doubled around the world. Experts called it the Angelina Jolie effect. That same genetic spotlight is now shining on Shiloh, not in fear, but in fascination. She isn't just the daughter of a superstar. She's become part of a bigger story about heredity, risk, and the way celebrity can move science. Online, the obsession keeps growing. On TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, fans post split photos of Angelina and Shiloh, some from red carpets, others just casual moments. One viral wave hit during the 2021 premiere of Eternals. Shiloh stepped out in a black Versace dress and high-top sneakers. Instantly, the comparisons flooded in. Old photos of Angelina at the same age started circulating again, and the similarities were eerie. Even the way they smiled felt the same. In 2024, a photo of Shiloh in a dance studio was paired with one of young Angelina. The post exploded, sparking debates about which parent she looks more like. Every new photo seems to restart the cycle. The internet can't let go. Then came April 2025. Shiloh, now 18, was spotted outside her LA dance class wearing 2 tight Dutch braids. It was a simple look, but it hit a nerve. Fans instantly connected it to Angelina's most iconic role, Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Hashtags like mother like daughter and Tomb Raider took over. Some called her Lara Croft 2.0. The outfit wasn't flashy, just a hoodie, sweatpants, and sneakers, but the image was powerful. She wasn't trying to copy her mom, but the echo was clear. Photos from that day showed her laughing with friends, snacking, checking her phone. It felt real. It felt effortless. And yet it carried the weight of a cultural callback that no one could ignore. That moment wasn't the only sign of change. For most of her childhood, Shiloh dressed like a tomboy. She even went by the name John for a while. Her parents supported it completely. Angelina once said her kids could dress and express themselves however they wanted. But starting in 2021, something shifted. Slowly, without fanfare, Shiloh's style evolved. She didn't stop wearing hoodies or jeans, but she added gold hoops, rings, and sleek hairdos. By 2025, her look was blending comfort with elegance. Her dance teacher, Kolani Marks, praised her creativity and drive, calling her one of the most determined students he'd seen. On July 4, 2025, something unusual happened in Studio City, Los Angeles. Shiloh Jolie, now going by just Shiloh, was seen walking out of Fonet's Bakery with Keone Rose. They weren't just grabbing a snack. They were celebrating Independence Day together, dressed in casual matching outfits. Keone in a cropped tank and sweatpants, Shiloh in a hoodie and trainers. But what really caught people's eyes wasn't what they wore. It was how they acted. Keone gently held Shiloh's waist as they crossed the street. Earlier, he had been seen brushing her hair from her face. Quiet, intimate moments that felt like more than friendship. Over the past year, they've been spotted together again and again, shopping, eating sushi, leaving dance classes. Each time, they looked close, comfortable, like something was growing between them. Keone, who's trained in ballet, hip-hop, and contemporary dance, has even performed choreographed pieces by Shiloh herself. That alone would be enough to draw attention. But after Shiloh's 19th birthday in May 2025, the buzz got louder. They were seen again, this time with Keone's arm wrapped around her waist. It wasn't subtle. Fans and paparazzi alike saw it for what it looked like: romance. Still, there's been no official word from either of them, but that hasn't stopped people from talking. The affection, the frequent outings, the shared passion for dance, it all adds up to one of the most talked about young love stories in Hollywood right now. But before Keone Rose came into the picture, there was someone else making headlines with Shiloh: Sean Liu. Back in 2024, Shiloh and Sean were almost always together. At dance studios, walking down the street, laughing, hugging, hanging out. There was chemistry. People wondered if it was more than just a friendship. Sean is a well-known dancer, choreographer, and even a chef. Like Shiloh, he lives in the world of movement and rhythm. But those who knew them best were quick to set the record straight. This wasn't romance. It was a bond formed in the dance studio, built on long hours of rehearsals and shared creativity. Shiloh was making a name for herself in the dance world, and Sean was one of her closest friends. They made videos together, worked on projects, and supported each other. And while the outside world kept guessing, those close to them knew. It was just friendship. Behind all of this, though, stands a powerful figure, Shiloh's mother, Angelina Jolie. And when it comes to her kids' personal lives, especially dating, Angelina doesn't take a back seat. Sources say she's very protective. Anyone who wants to be part of Shiloh's life has to go through her. It's not just a meet and greet. It's a full screening. She wants to know they're respectful, genuine, that they see Shiloh for who she really is, not just as the daughter of two famous parents. Some have walked away because of that process. But those who pass? They're usually serious. There's a rumor that Keone Rose didn't just pass, he impressed. That's only made the story more fascinating. It's not just about young love. It's about love that's been tested by one of Hollywood's most watchful mothers.